What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, I waited a few days for this conversation to die down, and maybe that was a mistake because maybe some of you all are past this topic, but I really wanted to address the situation. So, attorney and TV correspondent and well-accomplished woman Ebony K Williams, she's having a conversation with Iyanla Vanzant, and Iyanla asks Ebony K Williams, would she date a bus driver? Ebony K Williams responds, if he owns the bus, I would, right? And Iyanla Vanzant is like, no, that's wrong, right? So following Ebony K Williams saying that she would not date a bus driver, there was some backlash. People were looking at Ebony sideways. Some people were feeling like, hey, that's wrong. Why wouldn't you date a bus driver? Are you a gold digger? So on and so forth. And some people were looking at her funny style. So Ebony then, she was upset. She did what people do. When you're upset, you make emotional responses. And sometimes I think you say things that I think you would have changed it up had you had the time to word it in a different way. Nonetheless, she went on her platform, on her show on the Griot, and she basically said that white supremacy has conditioned, I'm paraphrasing, white supremacy has conditioned black people to believe that mediocrity is okay and acceptable, right? And when she says mediocrity, she's talking about the job of being a bus driver. She labeled that job as being mediocre, the example of mediocrity. And that is offensive to a lot of different people. Because at that point, it seems as though she's job shaming, right? She's saying, hey, you driving a bus, that's not, you need to achieve higher. That is not a goal that you want to be having for yourself as a black person in America, so on and so forth. We have let white supremacy dictate our belief our belief in ourselves and our belief in how far we can go as black people. But when she's called it mediocrity, it can sound like you're shitting on people who drive buses for a living. Now, she later came out and said that she can't do that because her mom, has driven a bus before, right? But there's people that will take offense to that. And so then she got on The Breakfast Club after that, and she had a very heated discussion, a very interesting discussion with Charlamagne the God, and it was some women from the podcast Horrible Decisions, as well as DJ Envy. Her and Envy had a back and forth because Envy felt like when you call in a job mediocrity, the definition of mediocrity, you're trashing people who make the world go round. Somebody has to drive buses in this world. Everybody can't be Ebony K Williams, an attorney, so on and so forth. Somebody got to do their job, and it is distasteful to seem like you're shunning them or you're basically calling their job the definition of pure mediocrity when you talk like that. And so when Ebony came on the show, she basically started talking about how we as black people have to achieve higher, how we got to want better for ourselves, how we want to, also, I'm going to say this too. She described being a bus driver almost. She likened that to getting C's and D's on your report card, and that not being enough. So when she came on the Breakfast Club, she tried to switch it up and word it as, we got to want better for ourselves in the community. We've been, she also came and said something along the lines of like, what did she say? She was talking about how black women are going to college at a higher rate than black men. And, she just wants our people to be, she wants, black folks to dream higher, to aspire to be more than, aspire, and I'm paraphrasing, but aspire to be entrepreneurs, business owners. She wants black people to own things because that is what matters, so on and so forth. And if you want to make a dent in society as black folks, we don't own too much of things. We got to own stuff. So she starts to talk about black economic freedom as why she was talking about why being a bus driver is not enough. Envy then was looking at her like, hold on, wait a second. I'm hearing you talk, this brother man talking how We gotta want better for ourselves as black folks, and how we gotta strive beyond just the surface level goals, and we gotta want and recognize that we can do better and all this and all that. Black folks gotta do this. Black folks gotta uplift each other. We gotta rise up. We gotta we gotta go to school more, do this and all that. She said you're basically telling her you're talking this pro-black talk and you want better for the black man and all this and all that, but you were engaged to a white man. So you're talking this upliftment for black folks, but that's not necessarily the men you're looking to date. And then she responds, "How do you know what I'm looking for, Envy?" And it gets testy after that. So the question remains, how do I feel about Ebony K Williams and her whole stance? Let's get to what she first said. When she first said that she wouldn't date a bus driver, she would date him if he owned the bus. You know what? I had no problem with that, because I recognize that, she's a well-accomplished woman. She's went to school. She's got degrees. She's an attorney, TV correspondent, so on and so forth. She is used to, she's been up in her life for a while. And I have no problem with a woman or a man choosing to date a person who is on their level, right? I have no problem with that. You want to date somebody that's in your same financial bracket, on your level, cool. I don't see a problem with that at all, right? In a lot of situations, sometimes I would advise that, because some women and some men, but I'm gonna speak from the aspect of women, right? Because women look to men to be providers. Women like to be wined and dined. A lot of women like to be get gifts. They like to be wined and dined, so on and so forth. And if you're dating a guy who's not able to wine and dine you with certain things that you like and certain little things that you like and you think is cute or whatever, you want to date a guy who can actually do that. Not dating a guy who you're putting so much pressure on to get this and get that and get this and get that, and he's breaking his neck to try to get it, and he still can't get it, and then you irritate it the whole time while you're dating him. I would rather you date somebody who can do the things that you like and get the things that you like, so on and so forth, right? And they can experience, they can drop. Some women want men who can drop everything drop everything like that and go on trips, go here, go there, without worrying about finances. Because some women like to travel, some men like to travel, so they want people who can just drop everything at the drop of a dime and go here and go there. And if you're not dating a person who is financially in the same boat as you, they can't do that. So I'm fine with that. Ebony K Williams' problem came when she started to down talk the job of being a bus driver. When she started calling it the definition of mediocrity, and she started to compare it to getting C's and D's as a student, that when it gets shifty. And I'm like, nah, that sounds like you shitting on working class people. And as I said before, somebody got to do these jobs, right? You can't trash everybody that work at McDonald's and work at Walmart and all this and all of that. When we go to these places to get serviced, we go to McDonald's. Some people go to McDonald's to get food. Somebody got to work there for you to get your food. You go to Walmart. Somebody got to work there to tell you where this item is, that item is, and to help you when the register, when the self-checkout is acting weird and acting funny. Somebody got to stock them shelves so you can shop there. So I don't like job shaming people, but it came across as her job shaming when she called it the level of mediocrity, so on and so forth. And so I felt like there were some people call it sensitive, but I feel like it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. You can say, I want to date somebody on my level. I want to date somebody that's on my level, that can do things that I like to do, that can date me in a realm that I like to be dated in. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. But it's when you start talking like calling the jobs mediocrity, it's looking like you looking down on certain people in the working class society. That's not cool. But then it got it got hectic, it got fuzzy, and it got worse for her when she goes on the Breakfast Club and tries to do this, this pseudo, she's a very intelligent woman. But when you try to spin it, this pseudo intelligent rant about like how you want better for the black folks, you want us to rise up above white supremacy and have an ownership mentality, and how we need to own things, and black men not going to college, so on and so forth, and all this and all that, and how you want it to be all for the brother man and how you want us to be up and how, white supremacy is looking at us and bounding us from reaching our true potential, how we want to aspire for higher things and all that. That's where it gets fuzzy. Because, this is the thing. Everybody's idea of success is different. Some people come from absolutely nothing. I'm talking about I have friends who lived in homeless shelters growing up, right? I have friends who have not had lights before, right? I've not had heat in my house, but I've always had lights. I've never been in a shelter, even when we didn't have heat, and we had to plug up the space heaters, and we had to boil our water to wash up on a dang on hot plate. I've been in them situations, but it's people who have had absolutely nothing. So to them, driving that bus, making ends meet, and be able to pay their rent, get them some nice little clothes, and do for their kids, that's enough for them, right? Everybody does not want to be business owners. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody because you got to have a certain mindset, a certain type of drive, a certain type of ambition, a certain type of willpower and resiliency, and a certain type of mental fortitude to keep going in that. Not saying that the person that doesn't do that isn't strong, but it takes a strong-willed person because entrepreneurs endure loss, they endure sleepless nights, they endure a whole lot of headaches, they endure a lot of financial loss within that, right? Some people don't trust that. They got to have a job that no matter what, as long as they work and they do their job diligently, they're going to get paid regardless. Right? And so some people just want that for themselves. Everybody does not want to be rich. Some people, a lot of black people in America just want to be comfortable and be able to take a vacation once a year, maybe twice, but at least once a year. Get their kids Christmas gifts, get their kids things that they need, get their hair cut and their nails done every so often, and they cool. So you got success looks like different things for everybody. Everybody don't want to be these big time business owners. And when she tried to spin it into that, it's like, everybody don't have them same type of aspirations you have. I want to be a millionaire. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I want to be a millionaire without question. I want a lot of money. I'm not going to lie. But I recognize that everybody doesn't want those things. So I can't put that on everybody else. I can't put that you should be an entrepreneur. You should aspire to be a business owner. You should want to own this. You should want to own that. Some people don't got time for the financial loss, the headache, and the sleepless nights. It is what it is, right? I also recognize that even being a bus driver, you can make a lot of money, depending on how often you driving that bus. And if you got if you got clients, whatever, you can make some money. So I'm not gonna shun that job and act like it ain't. Hey, that ain't nothing. You just a peanut. You just driving in peanuts. You raking in peanuts. I'm not going to look at nobody with my nose turned up like that. So her trying to flip it into that, she was trying to change the narrative and save herself from the backlash that she got from calling being a bus driver the object, the definition of mediocrity. From comparing, she tried to shield herself from that backlash she received from comparing being a bus driver to getting C's and D's on your report card, basically job shaming people. And when you flip it, it changes the whole situation. All she had to do was say, man, listen, I want to date a guy. I wouldn't date a guy that's a bus driver because I want to date somebody that's on my level. I want to date a guy who can go on trips when I want to go on trips, that can date me in the way that I want to be dated, without me being frustrated by finances, so on and so forth, or financial issues, financial woes. I feel like she would have been fine with that. Some people would have had a problem with it and been mad and called her a gold digger. Not me. I'm a sensible man. I'm a logical person. I see the bag she raking in. And some people want people on their level. And me, as a father of a daughter, I don't want my daughter to be just out here bag chasing and chasing a sack and all that. But I also recognize that, hey, my daughter has a right to date somebody who is on her level, who she doesn't have to carry in a relationship financially. And hey, she can date that person and she can be happy within her dating relationship, right? Because you can tell that girl to date Ebony K Williams, to date the bus driver all she wants to. She ain't gonna be happy. And she gonna make that other man miserable that she dating because he ain't got what she want him to get. She want him to have. I'm sorry, because he don't have what she want him to have. So it's gonna be a whole bunch of turmoil. So I feel like, look, she can date, that sister can date whoever she want to date. You know what I mean? Go ahead, date somebody on your level. And if she would have kept it at that, I think a lot of sensible people would have left it at, okay, cool, fine. Is when she started job shaming, when she started looking tall and mediocrity and all this and all that, and getting C's and D's, and then when she tried to spin into the brother man talk, see, that's how you get warped into a hole that you can't come out of. Because for one, people gonna see you brother man talking, then they're gonna look at, hold on now, your brother man talking this, that, and the third, but you was married to, you was engaged to a white man. Now, I'm not saying you can't be a person who is pro-black and dating somebody that's not black, but a lot of black folks in our community look at it as a conflict of interest. Some people are gonna look at that funny style. That you talking a whole lot of pro-black talk and you're not dating somebody black. People are gonna look at that as questionable. They're gonna scratch their head at it. Now, I do believe it's some people that can date a person of another race and still be for the advancement of black people. But it does look, to the public eye, it looks shaky and shifty when people do that. People are going to look at it, well, if you so for the advancement of black folks, why you not with a black person, right? So when she talked that pro-black talk, it put her in a certain hole in a bind because of her previous dating preference, almost marriage preference, because they broke it off. The engagement got broken off with Ebony K Williams and the white gentleman she was dating, but nonetheless, she was about to jump the broom. It's a black tradition. She was about to be in holy matrimony with that man at some point, so it was quite serious. Also, when you job shame people, you get looked at as people look at you as a person who, I don't know, you get looked at as not an endearing person. You get looked at as a person of the bourgeoisie. You get looked at as a person who is, who is arrogant or has your nose in the air. You get looked at as a person who is, I don't know what people call it. What's the old term? Sadiddy. You get looked at as a person, who snubs their nose or looks down on the working class people in society. And that's why Envy had a problem, because he said it's people that work those type of labor jobs who keep the lights on in the Breakfast Club, who allow us to be able to enjoy services that we do on a regular basis. So we shitting on those people, it's going to look funny to people. Same way when Dame Dash came up to the Breakfast Club and he was calling people that wasn't a boss, looking at Envy sideways. If you ain't a boss, you ain't gonna own this, you ain't on that, you ain't on that. We need to own stuff. And Dame not realizing that, brother, you own certain things because you got your money from dope money. From dope, pushing dope to your own people in your own communities. So how counterproductive is that, brother? You know what I'm saying? So, and again, either way, not aside from the fact he got the money from dope money to own his stuff, how can you shit on working class people who make the world go round? Because Dame himself looks for employees. How you gonna shit on people that you need to hire? You gonna talk about them and clown them out because they don't own stuff? You gonna belittle them in a way? And so it would look belittling. It looks like she can be belittling people who drive buses when she calls it mediocrity and compares it to getting C's and D's. If she would have kept it at, she want to date a person who was on her level, who can, date her in a way she want to be dated, and without any type of financial woes or worries or stress. That's fine. I have no problem with it, because a lot of people gonna date in their own world. They're gonna date on their same level, But see, you got some men who may look at it funny, because there's a lot of men who date women who are not on their financial level. A lot of men do it. But there are women who do it as well. But a lot of men do it, for the most part, a lot more. Men will date a woman who's not on their financial level. Now, some may argue, a man does it because he want to be the breadwinner, due to his status, his ego. He want to be the guy who is raking in the most money. Some people may say a guy want to date a woman who is not on the same financial level as him, so he can have control over her. And listen, it's men like that in every different category, but not the whole grand scheme of things. I just think that because men look at themselves as the providers And that is what we are taught, made to believe, that, hey, your rightful job as a man, we're taught that your rightful job as a man is to provide, to protect, to provide, and love your people, love your family, provide love, but just provide financially, and protect them. Men gonna always, I think men are more prone to date women who are not on their level, because they're like, okay, I can provide and I can do those things. So you got some men who felt the way about that, but I don't feel the way about a woman want to date on her level. It's the other stuff that made it shifty and made it funny, and that's when Ebony K Williams dug the hole for herself. When she tried to spin it to the brother man talk and belittle people who were driving the bus. That's what made it crazy, and it made it a bad situation for her. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.